moment you have waited for is here. It is 7 o'clock, and it's time to call the meeting of the Whitehall City Council to order. It's February 29, 2018, and we're going to start off with a, what?
Your pencil.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's an antenna.
We're going to start off with a moment of silence and the pledge. So if everyone will please rise for that moment of silence and remain standing for the pledge. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Elmore?
Here.
Coniston?
Here.
Cantor?
Here.
Heck?
Here.
Morrison?
Here.
Bailey?
Here.
President Green?
Present. All right, next on our agenda, we have the approval of minutes for February 5th, 2019, the agenda and regular meeting.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the February 5th minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Mr. Cantor for approval of the February 5th, 2019 minutes. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
All right, the minutes stand approved. It's our first opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to address council, or if you want to come forward and have something to say, you'll have up to 3 minutes. All right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to deviate from our normal agenda. I got stuff going on here. And we're going to go into our, I'm going to ask for a verification of copies at this time. Ms. Aug, please call the roll on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting and including any add-on legislation.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to move on with some resolutions for the evening, honoring our city employees. And so we're going to begin with Resolution 7, 2019. It's recognizing Lorna Lacey as the 2018 Administrative Employee of the Year and awarding her a one-time payment of $250 as additional compensation and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 7, 2019, move for suspension of rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 7, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 7, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for adoption of Resolution 7, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Resolution 7, 2019 has been adopted. So I'm going to go through all the 4 resolutions, and then we'll get on, and then we'll move on. Next, we have Resolution 8, 2019. It's recognizing Ty Peterson as the 2018 Service Labor Employee of the Year and awarding him a one-time payment of $250 as additional compensation and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I wish to introduce Resolution 8, 2019, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Heck and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 8, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 8, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Heck and a second by Ms. Elmore for adoption of Resolution 8, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
Resolution 8, 2019 has been adopted. Our next resolution is Resolution 11, 2019. It's recognizing Lee McKittrick as the 2018 Police Officer of the Year and awarding him a one-time payment of $250 as additional compensation and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I wish to introduce Resolution 11, 2019, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Mr. Cantor for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 11, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 11, 2019.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Mr. Cantor for adoption of Resolution 11, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
Resolution 11, 2019 has been adopted. Our next resolution is Resolution 12, 2019. It's recognizing Randy Jones as the 2018 Firefighter of the Year and awarding him a one-time payment of $250 as additional compensation and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 12, 2019, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 12, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 12, 2019.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Coniston, second by Ms. Elmore for adoption of Resolution 12, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
yes,
Bailey?
Yes.
Resolution 12, 2019 has been adopted. So we're going to go back here. Whoops.
You went way back.
Yeah. There we go. Hit the wrong button. All right. So first we're going to start off with the 2018 Administrative Employee of the Year. And I'm assuming that that's going to be
Me? I will take it. Excuse me, council, members of the public, I am so honored to present this resolution recognizing Lorena Lacey as the 2018 Administrative Employee of the Year and awarding her a one-time payment of $250 as additional compensation and declaring an emergency. This is the resolution that has been signed by President Jim Graham, as well as our mayor. Lorena, don't do that. Please turn around to the crowd as well as to so that I can say a few things about you. First of all, I've said this to you privately, and I'll say it publicly. It is an honor every day to work with you. I am privileged that you said yes to come into the city attorney's office. The work that you do for the city of Whitehall is indispensable. Not only do you empower victims of crime, you give them vision and you give them hope for, Lorraine, stop, for a better life. And even though they have dealt a hard blow, you give them an opportunity to find pathways to a successful life, and that's why you're so deserving of this award. In this resolution and in this, you will have a certificate that says Employee of the Year and your name. I'm so thankful that the resolution is 007 2019 because now I will refer to you as Lacey, Lorena Lacey. And in this resolution, you will have a copy of your nominating petition, which was submitted by your very own Tracy Lentz, and all of the information that she spoke of you. I tell you, it's one thing to be recognized by your peers for doing outstanding work. I know you don't do it for this type of recognition. I know your heart, and I know what this means to you. And to everyone here, when she found out that she was even awarded, she was just gushing in tears. It was just something that she was just totally not expecting. And so, without any further ado, Lorena, this is yours. Please display it wherever you would like, preferably not on my door. Thank you. Yes, you do.
Hey, that's all right, so next up, we have Mr. Woodruff recognizing the Service Labor Employee of the Year.
Ty, if you want to come up, I get to follow Michael, you get to follow Lorraine, and no pressure.
You have to cry, though.
I follow Michael, so how do you always follow that? I need a couple tears out of you. Ty is our Service Labor of the Year. It couldn't have gone to a better person. I just want to read very briefly from the resolution. In Ty's position, he ensures the operating systems at City Hall are working to maximum efficiency. No problem is too big or too small for him to handle. Everyone's concerns are treated as if they were the most important. Much like City Attorney Goodens was talking about, you have your resolution here, along with the nominating forms and your certificate. I think one of the things that is most telling about Ty is that he received multiple nominations from a number of city departments because Ty's work really does touch every single department. And no matter who I talk to, Ty, from department heads to frontline staff, everyone's day is improved because of their interaction with you, because of the things you do to make sure that the train is running on time, so to speak, and that we are presenting our best foot forward. So again, this couldn't go to a better employee, and we're so proud to have you working with us. Thank you so much.
All right, so next we have Lee McKittrick as the 2018 Police Officer of the Year. Yeah, see, he's afraid that he's gonna break down, that's what it is.
He will break down. He asked to give you some instructions. Make sure yours is half the length of theirs.
Yes.
So we have 20 minutes here.
If he doesn't break down, probably just takes him.
Very well. So I like to do the same thing here, talk a little bit about Lee, and read directly from this, and I got a couple of words that I think are very important for you to know a little bit about Lee. According to the resolution, Lee McKittrick demonstrates the performance Lee McKittrick demonstrates that her performance aligns with the city's core values. He is relentless in his pursuit of responding to casework and is focused on upholding justice in the Whitehall community. Lee, a lot of people don't know a lot about Lee and what he does on his normal casework, which is significant in and of itself. But one of the things that we did, and I know it's dear and dear to the fire department, is that Lee decided on top of all of his duties in 2018, Lee was going to take on the task of the opiate problem on the law enforcement side. And so when we chose who we wanted to have to represent, and the city did as well, the police department, there were several steps that was taken to pull that off. And there were questions, right? On top of this, what was doing in this opiate problem, which was pretty significant. He attends a lot of things out in the county. He works closely with other agencies, as well as the fire department and the police department as our liaison for this opiate epidemic. But additionally, in an effort to demonstrate excellence in policing, which is a mantra that we have in the department, Lee has went out of his way to make sure that not only does he know his tasks and his jobs and his duties and responsibilities as a detective, but he wanted to know what it was that we're supposed to know from the chief's office. And he knew that strategic plan when we were asking him questions about that strategic plan better than any one of the chiefs, I think. And he answered every question and told us things that really was helpful to not only what we needed to know, but what he was doing and how it affected the community. So Lee is an unbelievable, valuable employee in our department, and I'm really proud to work with you, Lee. Congratulations.
All right, next we have, we'll recognize the 2018 Firefighter of the Year, Randy Jones. And Chief?
Thanks for having us all here. I want to read one thing from the resolution, which pretty much sums it all up. In Randy's position of community paramedic, he ensures the most vulnerable population of our city receives attention to the healthcare needs. And most of you know that the opiate problem was pretty big. And we took on a lot of new programs with the fire department, everything from drug court to safe stations, everything else. And every time something come up, we'd say, who's going to do it? Like, what's Randy, right? Randy's going to do it. And Randy, carried the ball, and he's done a great job. I want to read this paragraph from his nomination. Randy took on one of the nation's major issues, the opiate epidemic. Rather than sit back and wait for others, he gave countless hours of his own personal time, and his passion was overwhelming. He has engaged many people within the city, not just the department, in a way that his passion became infectious. As a result, hundreds of people now have an opportunity to turn their lives around, and through his leadership, Whitehall is becoming a safer place. So Randy is affectionately known to me for many years as Rescue Randy. Double R for short. So I'm pleased that he got employed here this year.
Now, we know that all of you guys all have other duties to do, to perform, so if you want to get out of here, you're more than welcome. But before you go, I do want to say that we're all proud of you, each and every employee of the year. It's great to have a bunch of people who care about their job and care about their city that they work in. So we thank you all the members of council up here, thank you, and congratulations. And now if you got to get out of here, you're more than welcome to leave.
Congratulations, all.
I said, there went the gallery.
No, Joy probably will leave there.
Hey, I tell the chief he left his cell phone.
Yes, somebody.
Hey, Mary.
Somebody left a cell phone.
That's Caitlin's.
She's coming back.
So I have an ulterior motive for this.
They messed with
Now
the
that
ticket.
they're all gone, if I mess up, the only people who know that I messed up are the people that are watching this on YouTube. So, I hope it's on. Is it on?
Yes, it should be.
Okay. Please forgive me if I mess up. All right, so now we will continue with our normal agenda, and we'll start off with our standing committee reports, and we'll begin with Administration and Financial Management, Chairperson Bates.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration and Financial Management did meet last week, and Mr. President, I want to point out that Mrs. Odd did a terrific job on the minutes. Therefore, they're on file. And we will meet again next week on Tuesday, sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you, sir. Community and Elder Advocacy, Chairperson Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community and Elder Advocacy did meet on Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. There's no pending legislation. We meet again next Tuesday in the back about 6:30.
All right, thank you. Community Standards Enforcement, Chairperson Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community Standards Enforcement met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you, sir. Economic Development, Chairperson Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30 in the back.
All right, thank you, sir. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services, Chairperson Hack.
Thank you, Mr. President. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services met last Tuesday. We had one piece of legislation that we just passed. We will meet next Tuesday after 6:30 in the back.
Thank you. Public Safety, Chairperson Coniston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety met last week. Our minutes are on file, and we'll meet again next week in the back sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you. And now we have Parks and Recreation, Chairperson Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation, excuse me. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Met last week. We met in the back. Our minutes are on record. We'll meet again next week. I will say that we had our dog park meeting here, advisory, last Wednesday, and I talked to Director Sorrell. She told me we had a good turnout and had some good ideas. So I want to thank everybody for attending. That's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Those are all our standing committee reports, and now we'll move on to our officials' reports, and we'll begin with our mayor, Ms. Kim Maggard.
Good evening. Before we get started, I'd just like to say how much that I appreciate our employees in the city, and it was a difficult decision to decide on Employee of the Year. And I just want to say that their attention to detail is phenomenal. The fact that they'll help anybody, doesn't matter which department they're in, they're here to help. And they do represent the core values of the city and the mission of the city. And those were the things that they were selected on, and they are phenomenal. All right, I would just like to ask for favorable consideration of ordinances 22, 2019, and 25, 2019. And that's all for this evening. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Next we have our city attorney, Mr. Michael Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. Thank you, everyone that's tuned in, as well as those that are in the audience. I would also like to echo the mayor's sentiments as it relates to the employees of the year. I personally have been touched by each and every employee that was recognized tonight, and I commend, and it was definitely well deserved. From the city attorney's office, I do have a sad report, but I'm encouraged in this sense to report that we were, I wouldn't say not successful. I would not say that the program failed. I would not say that even this individual failed, but the very first participant of our opiate court passed away as a result of a drug overdose. It has affected the other participants in the program. It has affected Randy Jones, who was here tonight. It's affected Deputy Chief Minapace as well as Morgan. Drug addiction is real, and the disease is real. And those individuals that are trying their best, even though they have hope and even though they have all of the services necessary to get over that hump, can find themselves in a place that can ultimately they could lose their life on. And so I'm encouraged in this sense that this council and this mayor has the courage to continue the effort and keep the doors open as it relates to our opiate court. It is a prosecutor-led initiative, and my office is not deterred with respect to the individuals that we will continue to refer to the opiate court, notwithstanding the loss of this individual. And so everyone stands ready to provide the service. And I let anyone that knows or that's listening by YouTube or listening by Facebook know that Whitehall stands ready to help you if you are addicted. And if you find yourself in a dark place and you find yourself in this mayor's court and you qualify for our opiate court, we will be here to help you. And so I just wanted to make that report to council and make that report to the public that even though this is a speed bump, not to minimize this man's life and reduce it to that, but the city of Whitehall, we do stand ready to help, and we stood ready to help this individual, and I wish that we could have done more.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have our city auditor, Mr. Dan Miller.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. President. I have no official report of what you have in front of you. I would like to ask for favorable consideration on ordinances 3, 4, 22, and resolution 6.
Thank you, sir. Director of Development and Public Service, Mr. Zach Woodruff.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no official report this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Our city treasurer, Mr. Steve Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too have no official report this evening.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, the following officials' reports have been filed in the council office since our last meeting. We have the Division of Fire Overtime Report for November 2018 and December 2018, as well as January 2019. We have the Auditor's Expense Report for January 2019, the Auditor's Bank Report for January 2019, the Auditor's Statement of Cash Position Report for January 2019. We also have received the Auditor's Revenue Report for January 2019 and the Mayor's Report to Council for January 2019. Those are all the reports that we have received under communications, petitions, and claims. We do have a notice from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control for a C1, C2, D51 liquor permit, stock transfer, TH Midwest, Inc., DBA Turkey Hill, 703, 721 South Hamilton Road, Whitehall, Ohio, 43213, from Kroger Company to EG Retail America, LLC. We've also received the minutes of the February 7, 2019 meeting of the Planning Commission. Now, we've already had our verification of copies, so we will move into our remaining ordinances and resolutions for the evening. And as usual, we will begin with our third reading items, starting off with Ordinance 3, 2019. It's making and approving a fund transfer in the amount of $29,549.11 from the general fund to the debt service fund, making a supplemental appropriation of $29,549.11 from the debt service fund to the debt service expense account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 3, 2019, move for suspension of rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion for adoption of Ordinance 3, 2019 by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Morrison. Questions or comments? See, now all the audience say, well, we've all known that I messed up, but since they're not here, nobody knows except you people out there. All right.
At least my mess ups are recorded.
Please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
You guys are running Joy off.
Hi, Joy.
Ordinance 3, 2019 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 4, 2019. It's approving and making an appropriation in the amount of $30,000 from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund to the Law Enforcement Trust K-9 expense account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 4, 2019, and move to adopt.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of Ordinance 4, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Ault, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Ordinance 4, 2019 has been adopted. Is our last item under third readings. We'll start off with our second readings, and to begin, we will go with Ordinance 11, 2019. It's unappropriating $11,073.94 from the Safe Parks Grant Expense Account. It's being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 12, 2019. It's making and approving a transfer in the amount of $2,761.06 from the Safe Parks Grant Fund to the general fund. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Next, we have Ordinance 13, 2019, unappropriating $437,540 from the Parks Revitalization Grant Expense Account. That's also being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 17, 2019, authorizing and approving an appropriation transfer in the amount of $8,500 from the Senior Administrative Assistant Expense Account to the Grant Administrator Salary Expense Account. That's being read by title only. Also, it is the last item we have under second readings. Under first readings, we start off with Ordinance 21, 2019. It's transferring $239,287.86 from the bond retirement account to the debt service fund and declaring an emergency. That's also being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 22, 2019. Making and approving a fund transfer in the amount of $200,000 from unappropriated monies in the general fund to the street maintenance and repair fund and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 22, 2019, and move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 22, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Did we move for the suspension?
What's that?
Did we move for the suspension of all rules?
That's what I said.
Yes.
I did say
Mr.
it.
President, you did. I did.
However,
Mr. President,
yes, you need to restate it, because I did say it.
it's one of those days.
Yes.
To introduce ordinance 22, 2019, and move for suspension of all rules.
Second.
All right. This time I have a motion from Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules. Seems like I said that before. For ordinance 22, 2019, questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
The rules.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes. It is one of those days.
Okay, just check.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 22, 2019.
We'll take a deep breath, and I will move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Heck for adoption of ordinance 22, 2019. And you know what, is all that confusion we had before the meeting with the pictures and everything that's got everybody flustered. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Ordinance 22, 2019 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 23, 2019, making a fund transfer in the amount of $442,882.50 from various accounts in the Wind Pity Fund to the Debt Service Fund. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance, 24, 2019, making and approving an appropriation of $94,230 from the Recreation Bond Fund to the Park Improvements Expense Account and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 25, 2019. It's authorizing and approving a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $40,000 from the Hotel Motel Tax Fund 295 to the Tourism Expense Account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 25, 2019, move for suspension of all the rules.
Got that one?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 25, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 25, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Ms. Elmore for adoption. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Ordinance 25, 2019 has been adopted. Next, we have ordinance 26, 2019, accepting Fairway Boulevard, Norton Park Drive, and Opportunity Way as public roads in the city of Whitehall, accepting title to public parkland, authorizing execution and delivery of a plat, vacating an easement, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 27, 2019, authorizing the transfer of certain property located on Hamilton Road, south of Broad Street, to the Whitehall Community Improvement Corporation. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next up, we have, we've already covered resolution 7 and 8, so we'll move on to resolution 9. It's authorized.
We need to do resolution 6.
6.
Did I miss 6?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's a resolving to approve a then and now certificate and declaring an emergency. And I want to give, I hope everyone will give special consideration of this one for Mr. Miller.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce said resolution 6, 2019, move for suspension of rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and suspension of all rules on resolution 6, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on resolution 6, 2019.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Rodriguez for adoption of resolution 6, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
All right, resolution 6 has been adopted. Now, as I started to say earlier, we have already covered resolutions 6 and 8, so we'll move on.
It's a rough night.
It is.
Kind of infectious.
Listen, let me back that up and say we've already covered resolution 6, 7, and 8, because we just did 6. And we'll move on to resolution 9, which is authorizing the mayor to accept title to parcel number 090-000-467 from the Whitehall Community Improvement Corporation located within the city of Whitehall and pay all fees associated with the transfer of property and declaring an emergency. That resolution is being read by title only. Next up, we have resolution 10, 2019, authorizing the mayor to accept title to parcel number 090-000-468 from the Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation located within the city of Whitehall and pay all fees associated with the transfer of property and declaring an emergency. That resolution is being read by title only. Now, we've already gone over resolution 11, and so that's going to bring us to resolution 12, which we have already covered earlier in our meeting, and so those are all the items of legislation we have on the agenda this evening. So that brings us to our second opportunity for poll public. If there's anyone who would like to come forward, you will have up to 3 minutes. All right, well, we shall move on to our poll public, and if anyone has anything of importance they would like to announce for the community.
Oh, community gateway.
What did I say?
Poll public again.
Did
You
I?
just wanted to let these people know twice that they could come up.
Gee, my name.
Which is okay.
That's what I get for not scratching it off. There we go.
And they got their
Community
state
board.
Huh?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, Restore Whitehall is hosting a community discussion on human trafficking on Saturday, February the 23rd, from 10 to 12:30. And.
Where at?
Don't you worry about it.
It's on the website, I suppose.
Right across from the high school.
It's
I'll
at,
be out of
it's at
town.
Restore-
Right across from the high
It's at
school.
Restore's location, across from the high school.
Okay,
Okay, Boston High School.
great.
Right across from the high school.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, who else has something for Community Date Board?
On Monday, March 4th, is Whitehall City Schools is having the State of the Schools at 7 o'clock over at Whitehall Yearling High School
Yes.
and Walter Arms Learning Center.
Who else has something?
March 13th,
We do, we have
March
Wednesday, March
13th.
13th.
State of the City.
And
Got Easter coming up.
Yeah, State of the
When are we
City,
gonna stop that?
6:30.
Got Easter coming up.
We-
At Wasserstrom.
Well, we need to do that. Andrews.
Yeah,
Wednesday, March 13th, the
State
State
of the
of the
City.
City, at 6:30 at the Wasserstrom Company, where freshmen start at 5:30.
State of the school, Monday, March 4th also. What did she say?
We already did that.
I thought you were doing,
Boy,
sorry.
it's nice not to be alone.
I thought you were doing.
Can you move
the,
on so we can?
It is
I thought you were doing the job fair.
And we'll be doing the Easter egg hunt on April 13th for you.
I want to thank all of you up here for making me not look quite as bad. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
I
Gabe.
really do. I really need. I
Way
do
to
need
stand
that.
out.
All right. Who else has something for Community Date Board?
Nothing.
All right.
No.
Well, we'll move
Yeah,
on.
there's one other thing. The new career fair, the career fair,
Yes.
that is, help me, the 8th, March the 8th? I believe it is. Let's see.
Yes.
Yeah,
March the
Friday, March the 8th. 2 to 3:30 are for students, and 3:30 to 6. Students and public are welcome in the Aux Gym at Whitehall High School.
This Sunday, we have Whitehall Youth Basketball, their all-star game. It starts at 11. They have foul shooting, and the games actually start at 12:30, 1:30, and the senior play at 2:30. And that's at the high school, the auxiliary gym.
Okay. Does anyone else have something for Community Date Board? Now we'll move on to poll council. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations to you all winners out there. And it is wonderful to see the commitment that these folks have to the city, and not just the winners tonight, but so many others as well. The other thing is wish Mayor and First Dude 40th wedding anniversary.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure we've all known the Maggers for a long, long time. I've known them since we were next door neighbors back in 1989.
Yes.
And I remember it was late. It was well past dark, and still trying to get as much done that night. And out of nowhere, here comes Rusty across the street and helped me unload a U-Haul. And that's Rusty for you. I mean, and I can't tell you how many times that, you know, he'd see me into something or another, and he'd come on over and help, just, you know, with the graciousness of his heart. And this one's a pretty good cook, too. I've had some of her cookies and stuff, so good folks we have, really good folks, and God bless you both.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Ms. Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank all the people that were here and are here now, watching on Facebook, and also will review this on YouTube. Also would like to recognize the winners and recognize that the city rewards good work. So congratulations to a city that recognizes good work and rewards its employees for doing so. Also would like to echo Senator, must speak in the, no, City Attorney Michael Bivens. City Attorney Michael Bivens with regards to the opioid crisis. Most of all, you know, we are available, we are here, and for people that are out there that have lost hope, please don't lose hope, because hope is what will get you through. So We stand here as a city are willing and ready to meet your needs. And just want to thank everybody for their attendance and their presence. That's it.
All right, thanks. Ms. Coniston?
I also want to congratulate all the winners tonight. Actually, there's no losers, they all say, only winners. You know, for every failure, you have many success stories. And we see that daily with the drug crisis. And you see all the successes, and you have to just keep, you know, working towards more of them. So thank you, everybody, for coming.
Mr. Tanner?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and most of them left, and for everybody watching. And I know it's a hard choice. I forget which one made that statement, but it would be tough to make that choice out of all the departments that we have, because we have some really awesome employees, and I want to congratulate them. And Mr. Bivens, I'm really sorry about the news that you told us tonight. I know you put your heart and soul in that, as just quite a few other people, and I'm really sorry about that. So, thank you, everybody. Hi, girls.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the person that stayed. Thank you for everybody that came. Thank you for everybody watching at home. I too want to congratulate the winners for their hard work. I'm sure it was hard to pick, and I too am sorry for the loss. And that's all.
Mr. Morrison?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to thank all those who came and those who are watching at home, and hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Congratulations to all the employees of the year, and all the employees of the city does a great job. So I want to thank all of them. And that's it.
All right. Mr. Bailey?
Thank you, Mr. President. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And I share in the opinions and the things that my fellow colleagues shared. That's all I have.
All right. Well, I already congratulated everybody earlier, but I will also congratulate them again. Also, congratulations to the mayor and her husband on their 40th wedding anniversary. And I believe we've taken care of all the official business before us this evening. So I would therefore entertain a motion of adjournment.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Elmore, the second by Mr. Tanner for adjournment.
We really thought we'd mix it up tonight, huh?
That's all. Please call the roll.
No.
Yes.
You're just mad you didn't say it.
Yes.
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 Morrison?
Yes.
No.
Motion has carried. We are all adjourned. We'll hope to see you all here at our next meeting, which will be in March.
Okay, employees, good luck tonight during the middle of the night, and